our regularly scheduled commission meeting. Before we get started this evening, if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, a little bit of housekeeping for the listeners out on our live streaming as well as others in the room for accommodations. If you would please make sure that you're speaking into the microphones. That's for staff and the commission as well. So with that, the first item on our agenda tonight is to consider the minutes of the November 25th meeting.
I would move for approval.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. That motion carries. So at this time, we will retire the current commission and conclude business and adjourn sine die. Okay. So now we will start the new commission meeting. And Denise, are you going to kick us off with your memo, or if you would?
I can. So I would ask that Jason would come forward and that Melanie, do you want to give him that plaque?
Oh, actually, before you head off, Rod. No. I need a better mic, so. All right. We'll go off script. So, I am personally thankful to have been able to serve alongside you these past few years. I know myself, this body, and the rest of the commission and the entire community is thankful for the time and talents that you have shared with us. I don't know if you know, but Rod serves on countless boards and countless civic organizations, and it does not go unnoticed. Your experience as a CPA, as a business incubator, prior experience in local government is highly beneficial to the success of this body, this community, and Newton as a whole. So on behalf of myself, city staff, and the entire community, it's my honor to present this plaque to you. Thank you.
I'm going to get over here for a quick picture so I can get a picture.
Right.
Keep that. She's coming. She's coming.
Thank you. All I ask is that don't leave us. Continue to serve, continue to lead, continue to inspire. Thank you.
That's me.
So the next order of business, our city clerk will actually issue the oath of office for our new
commissioners, and for Leroy and Melanie and Jason, I'll join you up front there and we'll recite this.
You bring your stuff.
Where's he going to do it
I
down? You want to do it down here instead?
I don't care. Where do you want? I'll get out of the way. Not about me. In between the flags.
So, so raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name.
Melanie Watson.
Jason. I, Leroy Kane.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of City Commissioner
and faithfully discharge the duties of City Commissioner.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So I'll need each of you to sign this. I did not bring Leroy. It's here. And Jason. Okay. And you'll have a seat right over there. We'll get everything reorganized here.
I know. It just doesn't feel like it right now.
Okay. Do you want to read your,
Yeah, let me just
Memo.
tell you a little bit about that. We reorganized at the beginning of the new commission coming in, and we will elect a mayor and a vice mayor. What has happened in the past and is on commission policy is that the person who is currently vice mayor would move to mayor, and the person who received the most votes in this election in November would be the vice mayor for the ensuing year. You can deviate from that policy if you so wish. It is not legally binding.
Well, I am going to deviate. I do want to say that I have enjoyed serving as a commissioner and vice mayor. I once was a mayor at one time. I have appreciated Rich's leadership as mayor, and I would like to ask Rich if he would continue on. So I'm actually nominating Rich to continue on as mayor for this next year in my stead.
thank you.
I will second that motion.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. I'm honored and thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. The motion carries. Again, thank you for your trust.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next item would be to consider the selection of vice mayor for this ensuing year.
Yeah, so I would have a few thoughts. I've been thinking about this for some time, and, you know, to be mayor and vice mayor, and I think that we've just had an outstanding team this past year, but, you know, it takes a commitment. You have to drop things, and you have to be at all kinds of events at the drop of a hat, and it really takes that type of a dedication that, you know, you're going to be there every time. You can't just not show up, or you can't just, oh, well, I think I'll just bypass this. And I too, I'm going to deviate, and I'm sure I'll take some heat for this. But I think Commissioner Valentine has just done a fabulous job. Her and Rich are a great team this past year, and I know that you filled in for Rich when he isn't there. And I think you've just done a very, very good job. And so I move that Commissioner Valentine will be our vice mayor again for another year.
Thank you, Leroy. I appreciate that, and I am going to go ahead and second that, if I can second that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second for Commissioner Valentine to be vice mayor. Any further discussion?
Yes, I do. I think Kathy does a great job as vice mayor. I also think that Rich has done an amazing job as a mayor. But I feel that the citizens of Newton have not been heard once again from our commission. I was the one who received the most votes, and traditionally, I would be the one to take over as vice mayor. Now, apparently, we have some concerns or worries about my abilities to carry out the duties of that position. So let's just have this conversation and put it out there, because I'm a very transparent person. And I appreciate feedback as long as it's constructive, brought to me constructively. And so I want to say, let's put it out there and share with the public why you made your decision.
I'll be very honest about that. You know, I had a conversation with you, and I know that you said several times that you would do better and that you would be at everything that you need to be. But, you know, in the last couple of years, there have been times that the attendance wasn't there, the commitment wasn't there. I'm not the only one who has felt this way. And, you know, we don't do this job for the money. We don't do it for accolades. We do it because we really care about this community, and we're willing to go to any length. And that's just, maybe I'm old school, but that's just where I come from, that, you know, it's not what you say, it's what you do. People watch our actions every day. People are watching us. And that I feel like, you know, let's give it a year, and you know, maybe in another year, after a year of showing that, then I think it would just make sense, you know, to carry forward with what was supposed to happen this year. So that's just the way I feel.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I appreciate that you can exercise, that you have chosen to exercise your right as a commissioner to deviate from the tradition. But also, I have a right to speak as well. There's two sides to every story. Let's just remember that, okay? Leroy's concerns are legitimate concerns, and him and I have had a conversation about this. I'm going to be honest with you, the last 2 years, I have felt very alone in this commission. And that's been a struggle for me. I come on, there's people, these folks have had a relationship with each other for many, many years, and I can't really compete with that. And I don't really try to. But I just think that the votes speak. The people spoke, and they're not being heard. And I get there's some concern about my level of commitment, and what, like I said, his concerns are legitimate. There are times I haven't been able to be where I wanted to be because, one, I worked a full-time job, and second, my family needed me these last 2 years. And I think I did an excellent job navigating that and leading my family through everything that we've been through these last 2 years. I've done a great job doing that. And I'm still here, and I'm still standing. And I'm going to fight for my position and for the people's voices. They said clearly what they wanted. And we have a responsibility also as a commission to give the citizens of the Newton what they want and who they vote for. And that is where I stand with this. And I'm sorry that Leroy and maybe the other commissioners have felt that have questioned my commitment because I can't be everywhere at every time. Because I have, like I said, a full-time job. I don't own my own business at this time. I can't just take off and do whatever, whenever. So I did my best navigating everything that I've went through the last 2 years, my family and I. And so I think if they would know, and if they would have been there with me, go hand in hand the last 2 years and seen what we were dealing with, they may see me in a very different light. But because they weren't there, no one asked, no one informed me that they had an issue. When issues are brought up, it's usually through another resource. It never comes to me. I have asked, if you have a problem with me, or you question my commitment, come to me and ask me about it. Let's have a conversation. I'm open to the feedback. I have stressed that before with this commission. And again, that failed to happen until I was the one that ended up with the most votes. And now it's all coming out. I don't feel that's very fair. So is there a problem in the commission? Absolutely, there is a problem because there's a lack of communication here. I've asked for the communication, I didn't get it. What do we do with that?
Melanie.
It needs to get better. He's right. It needs to get better. Do I need to get better? Absolutely.
Melanie.
And I'm in a position now where I can do that.
Can't hear me.
And so with that, I'm going
Melanie,
to pass it over.
may I add to this? So if you'll recall in that first year especially, you missed a lot. You not only missed some meetings, you missed pre-agenda meetings. And the commission was concerned. And we finally confronted you. Staff was in
No.
the pre-agenda. Yes,
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You did not
Well,
confront me.
I have the commission here, members who will vouch for that. We confronted you about that and asked you, and I personally asked you, and I know Leroy shared some things with you about we would forget what was behind and we would move forward. I confronted you particularly about counting the cost in running for this role because there is checking it out. When I ran for this role in 2015, I didn't even think about doing it till I called my boss and talked to him, and he said, go for it. Because I told him, I checked it out, there will be this, and this that comes up, meetings here, meetings there, and I wanted to make sure that I could have his blessing from work. I asked you about counting that cost. I can't recall that you gave me an answer about checking it out before you ran. But the point is, Leroy encouraged you, just move forward and make it right. Make sure this is a priority. Because when you run for this office, you have to know that you're representing the community. And so you need to be here for those meetings because the decisions that are made for this community come from the 5 people up at this bench. Oh gosh, I forgot. Okay. So when you did, I think you did show some improvement in your attendance in coming. You did mention just a bit ago the community, the citizens elect. The citizens don't elect a mayor or a vice mayor.
I didn't say they did.
But they elect, and they have no idea how that's going to turn out for you or anybody that's elected. It just turns out that you did receive the most votes, but we do have an ordinance that allows us otherwise. I guess I'm concerned about, and I shared with you, I had to talk with you as well and talk to you about being right there when Rich can't do something. And as mayor, he calls, he asks, can you fill in for me? Yes. I suggested to you, I know you've had trouble making, at times, the pre-agenda meetings on Thursday mornings. So
Can you repeat that again? I've had trouble making.
You've had trouble at times. At times making the Thursday morning pre-agenda meetings. I told you, you will have a mayor-vice mayor meeting every other Wednesday morning, and you will have the pre-agenda meeting every other Thursday morning, as well as the commission. These have to be things that are on your calendar that you know you must attend, otherwise, unless it's illness. Nobody knew that you had all of those family issues initially. No one knew about all those.
Correct.
You were so involved with what was going on, and I think it contributed to your lack of attendance. But I have to say, in all honesty, I feel like I got from you in that initial conversation back in that first year, toward the end of that first year, I feel like I got from you that you really didn't know or understand the commitment that is with this role. I have to say that's exactly what I felt. And I think, I know I can speak for myself. So here we are, 2 years now down the road, and you have still demonstrated some attendance issues. I think you have sought to improve. I shared with you when I talked to you, you think that you can be here for the issues where a mayor and vice mayor need to be able to share those duties and be at the events. You had said to me, I will try, I will do the best I can. And you're looking at me like you don't
I
recall
did not
any of
say,
this.
that's not what I said.
Well, I'm sorry,
okay.
but I do recall what you said to me, and I will stand by that. And I don't want to have this with you up here, but like you said, we're going to have this conversation. This is not what I really wanted to have. I think you know, if you've had a talk with Leroy, you've had one with me, I think you know what our concerns were. So that is why we're here doing what we're doing.
Okay, I do appreciate that, Kathy. So let's kind of go back to that initial meeting that we had, at the agenda meeting. I found out there was an issue through Daniela. Nobody came to me, like an adult, and said, hey, I have a problem with what you're doing here, what's happening. Nobody came to me and said that. I have to hear it from another source. I, at that point, took it upon myself to bring this up publicly in an agenda meeting. So don't say that you confronted me about anything, because you didn't.
Wait.
Okay?
We
No,
did.
wait, let me
I
finish.
did after you brought it up. I
Yeah,
don't
after I brought it up,
I
yes.
don't discount that. We asked Daniela to approach you because we
that's
did not.
ridiculous.
Well, I don't consider that ridiculous.
ridiculous,
Daniela's our city manager, and we asked her to represent, and I know that Daniela knows you personally.
And I said in that meeting as well, please, if you have a problem with me or a concern with me, bring it to me. I'm open to feedback. I'm willing to do better and do whatever, it takes. Just if you have a problem, bring it to me. Since that meeting, I have not heard anything from anyone until the votes came in. So, yeah, is that fair to me? No, it is not. And yes, I have done better about coming. I've come to every meeting other than if I was sick after that conversation. Did we know? Does any of us know what kind of level of commitment we're going to take when we take this position? No, unless you've taken it before, you do not know until you get in there.
I disagree with you because I sought it out before I ran.
And
I did not run.
That's
did
great.
not file until I asked the questions and I found out what the involvement was, and then I had my boss's approval.
Right,
my husband's,
I did the same thing.
And I
did that same
decided to
thing.
run.
I had my bosses, I had my support of my DCF to proceed with that. So, yeah, I'm not saying that I was never up for the commitment. I was. There were things that were going on that did, yes, interfere, and sometimes the commission would have to take a back burner, just like other people did it as well during that time. But like I said, it's tradition to move forward. That's what I think should happen, and we need to just do that and move forward from here. That's all I have left to say. Jason, did you have something?
This wasn't really the first vote I was hoping to have. I would guess that I have lost more sleep over this than all of you combined, because I'm a very anxious person, and I wanted to start out with no drama. And I've tried to come up with some way that I could, as the newly elected independent on the city commission, come up with a way, and I've talked with a lot of people to try to think through creative ways of how to, when I would go door to door, people would tell me they're so tired of the arguing and the fighting. So, oh, can we just skip it over? That would be amazing. I don't actually have a solution, but I will tell you something that I think should maybe guide this discussion. As I've talked it through with people, my approach is pretty traditionalist, institutionalist, don't change anything. Even running, I said, everything's great with the city. We don't need to change anything. I like how things are going. I like all these people. I look forward to working with any of them. I would have loved to work with any of you. And I'm coming as the new person, and the way that this math plays out, I'm a card player, so I had already counted all the cards and figured out Leroy makes a motion, Kathy seconds it, and then we have to vote, and you have to have 3 votes. I'm not willing to vote to overturn precedent because I haven't been here to say, to judge Melanie. So I am a no vote, nothing on the content, just based on, I don't think it's fair for a new person to come in and say this. I'm not trying to make a value statement. I'm just saying, this is where I'm at. I'm not willing to be that, I'm not willing to be the person who makes that decision. So if you want this to pass, you're going to have to convince Rich or Melanie to go with you. Because I think we should follow tradition. I think the last time that we overturned tradition was 30 years ago. There's a difference between you choosing to step back. If Melanie was saying, I don't want to be, I'm totally supportive. But because she wants it, there needs to be a really serious reason for me to overturn 30 years of precedent. That just on any level, anything that we're going to come up with, I would say maybe we should have 4 votes to overturn something that big. Just personally. That's just my judgment. It has nothing to do with. I don't really care. I would work with any of you. But I wish that we could figure out a way to do it. And I wish we could focus on what is the role that we're looking for. We're just looking for function. We want the meetings to go smoothly. We want things represented. Is there a way? So it came down to, what, maybe 3 people that it switched, where it would have been me or it would have been you. I really did not want to be vice mayor. So I was really happy when you got it. But I'm also available. So if it's an issue of just availability to show up for things, I'm available. And I'm a busybody, so I'll show up for things if she can't, if you're willing to do that sort of thing. If we can focus on what do we actually need done, who can do it. I don't care who has the title or makes more money or has the role. I would, why not wait a year? And in a year, I will be able to join you if I see big problems and I've talked with Melanie and there are problems, then I would join you in overturning precedent. Does that make sense? I just have a really big problem coming in as the new person and then just being like, let's upset the apple basket, because.
Jason, can I say something? Jason, thank you for that. Thank you for that, because that is a team. That's how teams should work. If I can't do it, let me help you. If you can't do it, I will help you. I'll do it for you, or I'll help you. I'll come and help you. That is what I was looking for and wasn't getting. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
We're all in this political mix, and it's kind of scary. So
Yeah, it is scary.
I just am like, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I don't think.
Right there. Okay. So that's spot on. It really is not that big of a deal. Folks, mayor and vice mayor in the city of Newton, we have a strong mayor form of government. Mayor and vice mayor, we get to kiss babies, we get to cut ribbons, and it's purely symbolic.
Manager.
City manager, yes. Got me. All right. But with that, thank you for building a bridge to get over this, because that's really what we got to do. We got to get over ourselves. I, too, have had conversations with Melanie about concerns, and my ask for anybody to do this: be prepared, be present, and be engaged. That's what you have to do in order to be a successful city commissioner. You know, with 1,364 votes, you were the top vote getter, and that was people who re-elected you. You weren't a newcomer. They saw something in you, and they chose to re-elect you. I can't let that fall on silent ears. We have precedents. You know, none of us up here had any experience when we got up here. But the beauty of this form of government that we have here is this first year, you get to learn. That's why you're the vice mayor. That's not why you don't come on board, top vote getter, and start leading meetings. You get to learn Robert's rules. You get to learn how to communicate, the beat of the drum and the ebb and flow of these meetings. So, you know, I want to congratulate you on your win, you know. And I have faith, after our discussions, that you are going to learn and be able to execute the duties. And I have faith that if life gets in the way, that you may recuse yourself for a later role.
Absolutely.
So with that, we have a motion and we have a second. Barring any further discussion,
Well, if Jason has already committed, I think I can withdraw my motion, can I not? Because it doesn't seem to me
Yeah.
it's going to be productive if we have a vote and there's only 2 of us voting. So I'm going to withdraw my vote then.
I will withdraw my second.
Okay. So do we have an alternative motion before the commission? If not, I will move that Commissioner Watson be nominated as vice mayor for the upcoming term. Do I have a second?
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just would like, I'm really serious about the accountability piece. Like, I work, yeah, so I want to give you a chance, but I am also really serious about the accountability piece. So I hope that we can do better at, if you need more direct, so I need really direct communication.
That's
I
what-
don't catch things, so.
And I have offered
Exactly.
that in the form of
Exactly,
city
that's me
staff
too.
reminders and calendar reminders and
So I hope that together, and I would hope that, let's see, so you would, I think, if we would follow the pattern, then next year I would be the vice mayor. And if you all in a year think he's not up for it, I will listen to what you say. If you tell me you're not up for it, I will not. I will withdraw. I want to tell you that right away. Like, I'm really grateful that you modeled that. That's how I think that's what, I'm comfortable, totally comfortable with that. I'm really uncomfortable with not allowing somebody to try. That's really hard for me.
Great.
Really hard.
thank you. Barring no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. Was that an abstain or an aye, Kathy?
I said aye.
Okay, I didn't hear it. So, okay, very good. So 3-2, motion carries. All righty. Regular business.
Just a second.
You gonna relocate or you just move signs?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. First item of our regular agenda on this is actually our consent agenda. Commissioners, having had an opportunity to review the consent agenda, is there any further discussion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second.
We have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. First item of our regular agenda is to receive the winners of the Constitution contest. This is cool. Come on up.
Where are they?
Are they here with you tonight?
We brought everybody that could come.
Awesome.
Good evening. My name is Mike Fellows again, and I represent the Harvey County Constitution Contest. This is the 3rd year for our program, and we were really excited. We had 17 entrants, and we had 5 finalists. Unfortunately, 3 of the 4 that we had hoped to come are unavailable tonight, but we'll get into that a little bit. I'm very grateful for the people, Leroy and Kathy, that have served as judges. And Kathy, you put some great remarks in your ideas page for me. I was going to wonder if you could share with the group what you thought about the contest, because I got to recruit judges next year again. So,
Well, I appreciated the opportunity. I think in my comments, I can see a really, a good thing even becoming more great, better with the teacher. I think one of the things that the teacher had commented on was the students and maybe not touching on the things that have been discussed in the class. And so I just suggested that perhaps you have something the teacher could, were you the teacher? Okay, you don't look the same, I'm sorry. Something about, I don't know, I'm sorry, didn't mean to talk. Okay, I wasn't talking, I didn't want to act like I was talking with, I just didn't really recognize you again. No, I have a real drive to understand things and can be black and white sometimes or a perfectionist. And I wanted to understand what the kids, just this information. And so I just made suggestions that having some sort of a paper that the judges could read ahead and know what to be looking for.
Yep.
And then when your students write their papers, that would have given more direction to the judges. I applaud you. I mean, this is still in its infancy, and I applaud you for wanting to do this. I think this is marvelous that there are kids that are doing this and that they're actually learning about the Constitution. I think that in itself is a marvelous thing. So I applaud you. I urge you to keep going. And yes, recruiting judges, I would say if you have the opportunity to be a judge, I think that you should take that. I really think it's an excellent thing. So
I'll be back in May. I promise you that, because we are learning every year about how to make this program work better and benefit the kids. And this is the first year we've had an opportunity to bring Carson Mateel, the teacher that helps me coordinate this effort. And we had hoped to get all the finalists here, but we brought one of them, and I'd like you to meet her, and Carson will do his part of it.
Sure, excellent. I'd like to thank all of you for having us tonight and recognizing our finalists. This time of the school year is very difficult for a lot of students. We're about a week and a half, or actually right out a week out of finals exams that are coming up. So 3 of my 4 finalists weren't able to make it tonight. I've got 2 young men who are attending Scholars Bowl meetings, or Scholars Bowl events, and then the other one had a prior commitment as well. So they're here in spirit. They would have liked to have been able to join us, and they do very much appreciate the support of the City Commission and everything that we've been trying to do with this program. With me this evening is Zoe Hoskinson. Zoe was one of our finalists. She was one of our honorable mention, and we were fortunate enough through Mr. Fellow's effort, as well as some generous funds that have been provided by various individuals throughout the community and organizations, to be able to extend a cash reward to our finalists, all of our finalists this year. So that was quite nice. And I agree to your point. We are still in our infancy, and we are still looking to grow the program. We started on year 1 where it was only Newton High School students, and this year we were able to open up to all of our county high schools. And so we hope that we can continue to get future buy-in from those teachers in those schools and students that are willing to participate. We did have 4 out of the 5 county high schools this year that did send students, or at least sent entries in on their behalf to participate. So with that being said, I'll give Zoe a brief moment here to introduce herself, and maybe she can speak a little bit about her experience with the contest on the student side of things.
Hi, my name is Zoe. I'm a senior at Newton High School, and I placed 5th in the constitutional essay contest. On the student side of things, I think this is a very important opportunity for every student to have in school. To be able to work with teachers and educators that know what they're talking about and can really help you grow as a person through writing and through education is integral. And I received a decent amount of help writing my essay, but having that backbone and that support and the opportunity to write an essay, if not to write it for the money, to write it for yourself and to see where you're at, is such an important opportunity. And I really thank Mr. Mateel and the organizers for giving me the opportunity to participate in this event. So,
And thank you for stepping up.
You know, I will say, Mike, Mr. Mateel, one thing I took away from this is a lot of what I was reading in that, I'm like, I don't remember some of this stuff. And I took government in high school because I enjoyed that. And so I think it would behoove probably more adults than we know of to get refreshed in a refresher course. Perhaps you could come up with a night class for grown-ups, for the adults.
Well,
Yeah, I know. Well, it would be, we really need to know and understand that.
Kathy, you touched on it exactly. I'm just trying to make more people, more students aware that we have this great Constitution that gives us the rights and the freedoms to do what we go do. I mean, I listened to you take a pledge again this evening to the Constitution, and that's something that we all need to take home with us. So thank you. Again, I'm going to be back in May. We're going to have another program, and we'll be recruiting judges again. So
Awesome. But before you get out of here, if I could ask the commission and you, your group, we can have a photo.
I'd like to just say one thing as well. I had the pleasure of having a conversation with Zoe a few weeks ago, and I was in awe of her, of all her wisdom that she has at her age, and the knowledge that she has. And she's got a very bright future ahead of her, and I can't wait to see your journey.
Go be a proud mama. All right, moving right along, the next item on our agenda is the 2025 budget amendment.
Well, good morning, or good evening. I've been up since 3, so I'm not sure what time it is. But I'm pretty sure it's evening. Apologies.
Can you talk a little louder?
Sure, sorry. I'm Johnetta Shepek, the Director of Finance, and would like you to open the public hearing, if we could.
This time we'll open a public hearing for the 2025 budget amendment for the Meridian Center.
Perfect, okay. So as I had talked to you on November 25th, the purpose of the budget hearing is it is authorized by Kansas Statute 79-29A to amend one or more budget funds. The purpose of this is usually, in every instance, to increase a budget expenditure authority. Can you hear me okay now? Just want to make sure.
If you could, a little louder if you can.
A little louder?
If you
Okay.
can. Yep.
Perfect. So for the 2025 budget, the Meridian Center Fund needs to be amended. And if you can move forward in the packet, or we don't have it? Nothing on the screen. Okay. You have it in your packet?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is just walk through this page. It is number 2. And what it does is illustrates the difference between the original 2025 adopted budget for the Meridian Center in comparison to the proposed amended budget. So you will see at the very top, the unencumbered cash balance as of January 1 for the adopted budget was $12,972. For the amended budget, the beginning cash balance was $53,641, which is a difference of a little over $40,000. So if you combine that beginning cash balance with the budgeted revenues at $465,000, which has stayed the same from the original budget to the amended budget, gives you your total resources available, which the beginning, or the original budget that was adopted was $477,972 in relationship to the amended budget, which is $518,641. So once again, gives you additional resources to spend. And if you look down then to the expenditure side of the house, The original budget amount was $443,998. The amended budget amount is $518,641. So basically allowing you to spend the additional resources. Now, I do want to point out that we budgeted to spend all those resources. Doesn't necessarily mean that we will, but in all cases, we do believe we will exceed what that original budget amount was, hence the reason for the budget amendment. So at this point, I would just like to recommend to approve and consider the amendment to the 2025 budget for the Meridian Center.
All right. Is there any member of the public that wishes to speak on this matter? At this time, I declare the public hearing to be closed and bring the discussion back to the board, back to the bench. Any commissioners have any comments on this?
Do we have an ordinance number?
Don't need one.
Don't need one. Just a
No,
simple motion.
to approve the amendment.
I move that we approve the amendments.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And just say this is it's a regular activity to have to do when revenues are ahead of where
Yep.
they are, and oftentimes when revenues are ahead of where they were budgeted, so are the expenses, and therefore we have to make this amendment.
And this is a state requirement.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
To clarify.
This is a
Yeah.
state requirement.
We're
so
doing what we have to.
We are doing what we have to.
Yep. So there is Kansas statutes that require for all municipalities to adopt a budget before you can spend any sort of monies. And so this is, once again, just that process by which, by the end of the year, if you think your expenditure will exceed that original adopted budget, you're required to do an amendment.
All righty. Barring any further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Next item this evening is to conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance for the issuance of taxable industrial revenue bonds series 2025 for Flint Hills Industries, doing business as Hillsborough Industries. You going to kick us off? You want me to?
I can just kick it off, and I'm going to call Sarah Steele up here. Sarah
Okay.
is part of the team at Gilmore & Bell. Gilmore & Bell serves as the city's bond counsel and bond issuances such as this. Sarah can give you an overview of the project. As she's walking up, I also want to thank, just to give a shout out to Beth Shelton, who couldn't be here tonight, but has a big part in all of these economic development projects. So thank you, Beth. Go ahead, Sarah.
Is there?
Good evening. If I could ask, would you convene the public hearing?
Very good. It's 7:47. I hereby convene the public hearing.
We're here this evening to present the final action for the approval of industrial revenue bonds for the new facility constructed by Hillsborough Industries. And the total amount spent on the buildings has been $8 million. And they will obviously have equipment and furnishings on top of that amount. Equity Bank is the lender, and they are actually purchasing the 2025 A bonds. That's to allow for some advantageous interest rates under the Internal Revenue Code. The 2025 B bonds in the amount of $2 million is simply to document that the remainder of the project is also being covered with bond proceeds, so that makes it eligible for a total property tax exemption as well as a sales tax exemption on the materials purchased during construction. Mike Gherkin, the president, CEO of the company, is here this evening. And So if you have any particular questions on the plan.
I always have to be reminded of the tax exempt versus the taxable. Can you just briefly, you may have said it, and I'm sitting here looking at this, I might not have given you full attention.
Certainly. So the 2025A bonds are federally tax exempt, which only means that the interest paid on those bonds is exempt from federal income taxes. All bonds issued under the Industrial Revenue Bond Act are exempt from state taxes. So if it is a Kansas entity, they're not paying state taxes. So for purposes of federally tax exempt bonds, there's a very limited number of types of industries that can qualify for these bonds. This happens to be under a particular exemption for manufacturing facilities that have bonds under $10 million and a total capital expenditure looking forward 3 years of 20 million. And Mr. Gherkin has assured me that's not going to happen. So he will wait and spend more money after that additional period of 3 years. And so they just favor the purchaser of the bonds as well as the company with a lower interest rate.
I would say good for you for qualifying for that sliver of exemption there. Yeah. I'm sure you are, yeah.
Great team. Is there any member of the public that would wish to speak on this? Hearing none, I hereby close this meeting and bring it back to the bench. Any commissioners' comments? You have an ordinance number, Denise?
Yes, we do.
5189.
Oh, yeah, there we go. 5189-25.
Thought you were throwing your voice there for a minute. Awesome.
Okay. I move that we approve ordinance 5189-25.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. All right. Dun, 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 dun.
Rich, I just wanted to say something very quickly. I've gotten to know Mike over the last year. Has it been a year? And I just wanted to thank you for investing in our community. You have a beautiful facility, and I hope you stay in Newton for a very, very, very long time. And I hope that our relationship with the city gets stronger as you continue to invest and spend lots of money in Newton.
No, we're excited. We've got, actually, we're start production of a new style of trailer in February and have another one planned to start in June. And we're already hiring, so very, very excited. Revenue for 26 is predicted to be 50% more than it was in 25.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Good for you. Thank you.
All right. Next item this evening is to consider a temporary alcohol permit for Eastgate Lanes for December 31st and January 1st. Denise?
Yes. You have an application for a temporary alcohol permit for Eastgate Lanes. They are wanting to sell more than just what their CMB covers for December 31st and also January 1st. This would be located at 1610 East 2nd. They do meet all the requirements that we have, and they also will apply for their state license from them. So they would get a license from us as well as the state. And I would recommend approval.
I smell a New Year's Eve party.
Exactly. That's why they're doing it.
I'd call for a motion to approve temporary alcohol permit.
I so move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Next item this evening is to consider a resolution for the Carriage Factory Art Gallery to serve complimentary alcoholic beverages or cereal malt beverages at events promoting the arts. Denise?
Yes. You have before you in your packet a resolution that authorizes the Carriage Factory Gallery to sell alcohol or give away alcohol at events that are sponsored by the arts. And there is a list of the days that they would be having these events. They will send this into the state, and they will be able to hold these events at that time. They have an application as well that they have to send into the state with that. I would recommend approval of that, and let me give you an ordinance number or a resolution number right away. It would be G1370.
I move that we approve G1370.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Next item this evening is to consider an update to the city and county road maintenance agreement. Ed.
Thank you, Commission. Before you tonight is the agreement that we have with Harvey County. We worked together for years. We've worked together on various projects, this being one of them. There's a lot of roads in town that would fall maybe under county or city, but we work together to determine who kind of maintains those roads in the most efficient way possible. An example would be like Oliver. That's technically like a county road, but because we do have the airport out there, there's a lot of traffic that's Newton traffic, then we take that over and we maintain that road. So as part of our annual review, we looked at our agreement, and in that agreement, we saw that Hillside should probably come over to the city side for maintenance. This is Hillside between 1st and Southeast 12th that's currently being paved right now. And I've spoken with Jim over at the county. They're in agreement, obviously, because it's one less road they have to maintain. But would just ask that you would review and then approve this agreement that legal helped put together for us. And if you have any questions, I'll take questions.
Did this go before the county this morning?
Not this morning. Jim told me that it would be at one of their upcoming meetings. Okay. This part of the year was pretty tough. He approved it, though, as far as verbally.
Okay.
I appreciated all of the locations that were listed in there. It was good to,
Yeah, I remember.
wow, I didn't know. Okay.
Remember the year we got it just in narrative without the maps, and that was brutal.
I really appreciated that.
Coming in new, what are the criteria for deciding what swings it? Is it just traffic?
It's any number of things. A lot of it's just working with the county and saying, hey, there's a lot of traffic going on here, and it's due to city traffic, and would you guys maintain that? Or maybe the route that they're doing in their snow route, it's a better fit if they can just keep moving through that road versus having to stop and pick up, whereas they would then maintain a portion that would technically be under the city. So it's really subjective. It's just a lot of conversations between the county and public works staff to determine what we feel is the best.
I think I was wondering, I can't remember if this was resolved when there was a disagreement over how much the county would pay for East First, one of them, and I don't know if that got resolved, but I was wondering if this then gets taken into it, if there's a way to quantify, well, we cover this much of yours in the for future discussions, or is it just kind of
It's really just discussions between us. That what you're referring to is the design of First Street. It's a little bit, we're still working through some of that, but yes, in the future, once we kind of design that, since we would take the lead on it, we would typically take that over as maintenance.
I don't want to turn into Kansas City where they're getting out a yardstick to try and figure out what side of the state line road the car accident happened on or whatever. So that can allocate the funds accordingly. So, but we don't we cover 5 miles, so therefore they need to cover 5 miles of ours. We don't get
We
into
don't
that.
really get into those weeds. It's a pretty good handshake / agreement that we have with the county. If they see an issue or if our division sees an issue, reach out to them and say, hey, here's what we're thinking. What do you think? And like I said, years of working together, and it works out well.
But it's nice to have it memorialized so that we do know what the agreement is.
Yeah,
Certainly.
I really think that's good.
It's very good. Any further discussion? Did we have a motion on this?
No.
I took a nap there for a second. All right.
You did not.
I'd call for a motion.
So is it, there's no.
Actually, we just need motion to accept it.
the agreement.
Okay, I move that we approve this maintenance agreement.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item is to consider a memorandum of understanding to supplement the Themian Park interlocal agreement. Daniela?
Thank you, Mayor. Okay. If you remember, can you hear me? No? Give me 1 second. Can you hear me? Better? You can hear me? Okay. Okay. At the September 23rd meeting, and spurred by new grant opportunities, we considered and tabled the memorandum of agreement between the City of Newton, the Public Building Commission, the Railer Foundation, the Newton Rec Commission, and USD 373. What it did is it clarified their original interlocal agreement regarding Themian Park renovations. The original agreement, which was approved by the Kansas Attorney General's office, and it was recorded earlier this year, required full funding before the work at that park could begin. But it did hold a provision that allowed the parties to negotiate phasing, and clarified procedure. The supplement that you have before you addresses that there is a shortage of funds and the availability of CDBG, a CDBG, which is a Community Development Block Grant, that could assist with getting the project started in phases. With the supplement, the city will hire Schaefer Architecture and will provide a cost estimate for all of these 3 phases. They would also provide a PER for phase 1, which is a preliminary engineering report, and they would provide an updated rendering of the project. That rendering would include alternatives. The city has to be the applicant for this grant, so we would pursue the CDBG and any other grants in good faith to address that funding shortage. The original $1.8 million commitment, as per the agreement, will now be split into phases, particularly 3 phases. We are anticipating, after working with all of these parties, and Ed has spearheaded a lot of this and his team, we anticipate the first phase to be approximately $800,000, with a match for the grant to be 20%. So since our September 23rd discussion, the parties have met and discussed concerns associated with, for 2 reasons, 2 concerns primarily, phasing and funding. As a result, the memorandum of agreement that we presented to you before has 2 major changes. And what they are since the Railer Foundation is the primary funding source, the requested changes include that if the project were to be terminated, that the Railer Foundation would reimburse the city for those expenses rather than all 5 parties. So that was a change. The other change includes kind of a deadline. We kind of put an end date that once we get to December 31st, 2028, that if phase one is not complete, that all parties would need to gather and agree that they still support the project. So essentially what we're saying is for the next they have 3 years to complete that phase one. The MOA, so this memorandum of agreement, does not alter funding responsibility between the parties. So that has not changed. No one is adding, is having to pay more than they originally had agreed to. But it clarifies the roles and provides protections for everyone, which is, I think, what everyone was concerned about. So after this is approved, a public hearing will be required under, let's see, the grant guidelines. So that would be at the next meeting. Could we have that at the next meeting? A public hearing?
Yes,
Yes.
if we can
Publish?
notice it up.
Okay.
Are there requirements for the amount of
Yes,
notification time?
10 days, just the normal.
Do you have to time that after all the other bodies have signed?
Do the other bodies have to approve and sign before
Ooh,
we can
really
do
good
that?
question.
I think
probably,
we would go forward with noticing up that public hearing, and then we would roll through getting it approved by the other entities, because it's going to be for the grant application, not necessarily this agreement.
yes.
Okay.
So I think we're good if we approve and notice it up for a public hearing. Sorry about that. There's 5 parties involved. It gets a little complicated. The hearing will inform the community that the city and its partners intend to apply for a grant. And then we'll provide an opportunity for public feedback at the next meeting. The other parties will consider this agreement at their meetings. I believe we have one already approved. The PBC approved it at their meeting last week. I believe the other parties are okay with the agreement and are pursuing approval of their memorandum of agreement. Once we get this behind us, approved and behind us, we hope to submit the grant sometime in the next couple of months. We are currently gathering the surveys needed to complete the LMI. We're finishing the cost estimates and the rendering, and all that's happening behind the scenes, and we hope to have a submittal before, I think, the next round of submittals, which is in March. So it's a work in progress. Please, if you have any questions, I have Ed, Chris, and Matt Cook, our paralegal. He put all this together, so I can't take credit for any of this. We have a great team. If you have any questions, Chris could probably help to open to anything.
Alrighty. So I would call for a motion to approve the MOA.
I second. Second.
So that would be the motion. So. You're good. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. And motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Next item this evening is Citizens Forum. We have one community member, Robert Haso.
Well, is here. Yeah.
If you would, step forward, state your name and address, and
Can you hear me all right?
yes, thank you.
My name is Robert Hasso, pronounced with the H sound.
Okay.
I live in Shawnee, Kansas, 21716 West 60th Terrace. But our family trust, we have numerous properties here in the city of Newton. Okay, the reason I come before you, well, I was going to congratulate Rod for the job well done. But he already ran off. But anyway, briefly before I get into it, he's been, out of the 50 years that I've known commissioners and mayors, he's the finest man I have ever met that represented Newton, Kansas. And I appreciate that. He will be missed. Okay, now I'll go into the, briefly about our family. Our family immigrated into Newton around 1918 with my grandmother and grandfather and great-grandmother. My great-grandmother was, her name was Paula Medina, and she delivered every Mexican-American baby in the city of Newton for 20 years. She did have some help with Dr. Hockey on occasion. And so we've been here for a while. And my mom was born and raised here. And what I could say about our family is we're doves. We don't believe in violence. We don't believe in any of that stuff. We believe in peaceful civility. And that's why I'm here to address you. Specifically, I would like the city to give some thought about changing City Ordinance 11603. In a nutshell, that ordinance sets forth that the city will go ahead and notify you if any weeds or anything are out of compliance, and they are required to do that once a year. So meaning, if I was to get a ordinance, get a notification on June 1st, the city can unilaterally go ahead and mow it on May 15th and go ahead and charge me for the encumbrance charge. And, well, like I said, I want you to give it some consideration so that's more friendly. Now, what's important to me and what's important to you is we want to keep the city, well maintained. We want to do that too. The properties that specifically we've owned for over 50 years. We have maintained that property for over 50 years at a great expense. The property is not, it's native property. We consider it a park in the poorest part of the city on Boyd Avenue. It's still unpaved. And in the city, through the years, instead of fixing the roads in the surrounding area, they've chosen to close those roads. That's okay. But our importance is, that piece of property is beautiful. And for that poorest part of town, it's like a park. Please look at it and I'll pass it down. And we've maintained that for over 50 years. Recently, I met with, because as you know, this year, we've had a lot of water. And so there's been a lot of growth. And I met with one of the employees of the city. I don't want to say any names right now. And because he said part of the property was overgrowth. So I drove from Kansas. In fact, I've driven from Kansas City for over 10 times in the last 6 months. And I cut it down, and he said it's still not good enough, so I came back and cut it down again. And I also sprayed it with Roundup. And those weeds, I think that Roundup made them grow taller. So I came back and cut it off again. And to get a better understanding of what the city wanted, I had a meeting which Rod set up for me. Justin Erickson was there, Edward Bonham, Zach McHatton, and of course Rod. And the way the ordinance is now, I wanted to get a better definition of. So I took over that property about 5 years ago when my father died, and I've been maintaining it. And before then, I'd help him also. But I wanted to get a better definition of what the city wanted. It's not. I'll do whatever the city wants. Okay. And if they want that land cut down more, I told them right then and there at that meeting that we already had talking to somebody that come cut the trees at a great expense. It probably cost us between $2,000 or $3,000 to have it done. That's no problem. But I wanted to make it. I wanted to have a better idea of what the city wanted. there is an alley that goes behind 2 properties, and I talked to Evergy, and they said they have no need for that access for that alley anymore. And so it was my understanding that I thought the city maintained the alleys, but I've been told that I'm supposed to maintain it. That's fine. That's why I had the meeting. I want to have a better understanding of what's before me. Now, during that meeting, and since it's not set out in the ordinance, I said, well, you know, I'm from Kansas City, and I have a tractor here in town that I come back 6, 7 times a year to go ahead and mow. And but if it would be kind or nice if somebody from the city would give me notification when it's getting taller. And they were all in agreement. But you see, this ordinance doesn't give any credence to gentleman's agreement or civility to when we make a handshake. And so the city did call me one time, and I came down and cut it. Everything's fine. 3 weeks later, I get no call, but I get a bill for $400. And so, okay, the ordinance says that you only have to give 1 notification for the entire year. And so no gentleman or civility between the city and me meeting with them. That means nothing if one department or one employee of that department decides that they're going to unilaterally take it upon themselves, whether by directive or by vindication, they're going to penalize you. And so I come before you, asking, pleading with you, could you please look into it? I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you to look into it, make it more friendly. Our family's been in the community for over 100 years. We've maintained that property for over 50 years. But recently, it's not working. I have this year, and so after that breakdown and the 1 notification from the city that, you know, come and mow it, there's been no communication from the city at all. And so during that time, I've received 8 notifications, and each notification it has a punitive charge of $400 per incident. I'm saying, we have a record for 50 years that we've come down and maintained that park-like property in an important part of the city for the benefit of the citizens. And just because one person decides to unilaterally, either by direction or on his own initiative, to go ahead and not give notification, mow a native land every 2 or 3 weeks so that they can run up the bill, I don't appreciate that. No one would appreciate that. We do appreciate keeping the city in orderly fashion, but you don't appreciate when somebody doesn't have the courtesy of civility. And that's why I'm asking for the city to please look into it so that we can make this city a friendly city and also a beautiful city. And so that's why I'm here. I came last meeting. I got here at 12:30 and the meeting was over. I thought I'd be like tonight, you know, be last in line and, you know, I'd come tromping in, but that's okay. I'm willing to do this. It's so important to us that you know, if you want me to come here next week, I'd do it. All I'm asking is to give some consideration to that, please. Other than that, I love the city. Our family loves the city. We were born and raised here, and we will all be buried at St. Mary's Cemetery someday. In the interim, can we please be civil to each other? That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hasso.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty. Chris, are we keeping that or striking it?
Short executive session if we could, no action after. I don't know if you want to go around the horn first, but I'll ask for a short one.
Okay. Alrighty, we'll go around the horn.
Thank you. Nothing?
I don't always dress like this, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all of you. This is my grandfather's suit. None of my family is here, and it was a way for me to sort of embody some. If you're interested, I have pictures to show you. I come from an old Mennonite and Amish family. I'm bucking 500 years of tradition of staying away from the evil government, and I joined you all. So it's a little weird, but I'm really happy to be here, and it's exciting to try this new thing.
We will not be offended by the word evil government.
Yeah.
No, you'll find that out. I have nothing.
Sure.
No, sir.
Denise?
No, sir.
Danielle? Commissioner? Ready? We are going to call for an executive session. We will return. We'll take no action, so you're not bound to hang out for us. 10 minutes?
Call it 8:30, yeah, right.
All right, and barring our little blue sheet, it's for attorney-client privilege. I'd call for that motion.
I move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Back in 10 minutes.
Can't take anything in.
Oh, you got his photos. Oh, you want to get those back to him, Denise? executive session where no action was taken. We are hereby adjourned.